Hello, everybody. Welcome to this week's episode of Beware the Board, a horror podcast where we watch a randomly selected horror movie every single week. I'm Bob.
I'm Ben.
Hey, Ben.
Hello.
You taking a drink during the intro. Come on now. This is a professional...
You couldn't even get through that, could you?
This is not a professional podcast in any way.
It's like, what the fuck are you talking about?
The only thing professional is maybe our equipment. Equipment? Why do I say it with a P so hard?
Equipment?
Equipment. Our
No.
equipment is professional.
The only thing professional here is the fact that we have backup equipment.
True. Well, okay. That was pure luck.
That
In
was pure
fact,
luck.
I'm glad that we had it, but I didn't know we needed it.
If you're curious, one of our, what are they called?
XLR cables.
XLR cables died today, and I just
Yeah.
happened to have one in the other room.
And I did not want to drive back to my house to grab another one. Or go buy one.
Probably have to go buy one. I don't know if you have another one.
I have another one. Does it work?
I don't think so.
Maybe.
Anyways, new season.
Yeah, season 11.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, so look. I know that last episode was episode 100 or whatever. It didn't really hit me until I was typing in the file names for this, and I put episode 101. I was like, oh my god.
Ooh.
Holy shit. It's really, we're starting, there are 3 numbers now before the episode.
Yeah.
That's fucking wild, Ben.
It's kind of wild.
Really hit me like a truck when I was waiting on you to get back from getting coffee. It's kind of crazy. But
Yeah.
anyway.
Okay. I guess because you got on me last season about this.
Well, let's do the news first.
Do you want to do the news first?
We'll do the news first.
Okay.
Because I have a couple of things. But is there anything you want to talk about before I get into my spiel about news? Because normally you have some things that are,
I did
more
have
relevant
some
to the
things,
podcast.
but I'm very tired and it's hard to remember. Teaser trailer for Nosferatu came out.
Oh, that's cool.
I think they said the actual trailer is going to drop in, I think, a week. So by the time this episode comes out, I think the trailer might be out.
That's awesome.
So I thought I should mention that.
God, I'm so excited for that movie.
Otherwise, I don't know. A bunch has happened. Time to give you a peek behind the curtain. We haven't recorded an actual podcast episode of the podcast for a while now.
Yeah, we had to record a bunch in advance so we could record convention prep.
Yeah, we've been doing convention prep for the last 3 weeks.
2-3 weeks, yeah.
So, lots has happened.
Oh, while we're on the topic of that, we have a release schedule for that.
Oh,
now,
do we?
Well, I came up with one, and that's how I'm going to do it. Without consulting
okay.
you at all, because you don't have to edit them, so what does it matter?
Yeah.
When this comes out, Child's Play is already out.
Okay.
Child's Play would have come out the Wednesday before this.
Wow, that's so cool.
Well, look,
I'm
bitch,
glad you told everyone.
I forgot, okay? And it's been very busy, and there's a lot of stuff happening. But anyway, Child's Play came out on Wednesday. The next one, which is Fright Night?
It's Fright Night.
It's Friday night. That'll come out tomorrow, the day you're hearing this on Friday. And then the next one after that will be next Wednesday. And then the next one after that will be next Saturday.
Wow.
Just so that they all come out before we go to the convention. So we had to do 2 a week because if we didn't, there would be episodes of convention prep coming out after the convention.
Yeah, whatever. We watched them before the convention.
We watched them before the convention, but I would like for them to come out before we come back from the convention and start recording more content.
That's fair.
Because it makes sense. But yeah, so all that stuff it'll come out eventually. That's the release schedule. If you're interested, check it out. I actually think because we did less convention prep this time, they turned out a lot better. Because we weren't doing 45 in a row.
Yeah.
And I actually think some of those episodes are really good.
Well, we watched some good movies this year.
True.
I mean, our first one's Child's Play.
Now, going off of that, everyone knows that everyone, people who listen to this podcast and Ben, know that I play a lot of Magic in my free time.
You do?
Magic the Gathering, great card game.
Whoa.
They're doing something
Is
called...
that like Hearthstone?
It's way better than Hearthstone. They do these things called secret layers, which are like basically custom card drops that are reskinned cards or re-arted cards that like are themed and really cool. They're doing one for the new set that just came out. It came out this week, actually, as of recording this. It's called Duskborn. It's a horror set in like a haunted house. Very like modern movie horror trope stuff. I talked about it a while ago when it was releasing.
Yeah, you went to the release, right?
I went to the pre-release, which was super fun. Me and Noah, my friend, actually placed like 9th at the tournament, and 8th was prizes, and we were really mad about it. We played
that sucks.
pretty good and kind of got shafted. But they're doing a new secret layer called Camp Totally Safe Super Drop, which is basically, if you want these cards, you go to their website. It actually comes out, as of recording this, tomorrow, the 30th of September. So if you want them, you're going to have to go get them. Because this is one of the ones I think they're doing where it's like they're doing it till they're out. So if they run out, you got to get them. The first one, I don't really care about. It's another Hatsune Miku secret lair. So it's a bunch of Hatsune Miku cards. Don't really care about that one. This is the horror stuff, though. They have one that's Ghostbusters, the real Ghostbusters. And it's like the Ghostbusters animated show?
Yeah.
It's a bunch of cards that are arted like that.
That's cool.
And they look so fucking good.
Did you ever watch that show?
No, I didn't. It was before my time, I think.
Nah.
It's a cartoon from the 80s, Ben. Isn't it?
If you'd been a 90s kid.
Oh my god. You were born in 1999. Shut up. The next one is another Ghostbusters one, but this one is exclusively Slimer cards. Like, there's a card in here just called Slimed.
Huh.
And it's actually really cool. I really like it. My favorite one, and the one I'm so excited about, and the reason I said that the thing you were talking about with Child's Play is relevant, is because the next one is a Chucky secret lair, where they reskinned a bunch of cards to look like Chucky or be relevant to the Child's Play franchise. Like, you have actual, like, Chucky is a card now. It's a reskin of Carter Doom Scourge. You have Tiffany, the Bride of Chucky. You have a card that's called Play Pals Factory. So that's pretty fucking cool. The next one is a showcase of the normal, like, basically every set when they release cards, they have like a showcase version of every card. And the theme for Duskborn is like TVs with TV static. And it's a bunch of cards themed in that way. They're really cool. The last one, not the last one. The next one is Monstrous Magazines, and it's a bunch of mutants and creatures from the game that have been reskinned to look like EC horror comics, like issues. Like this one is Horrors from Across the Plains number 69, Doom Whisperer.
I think those ones look
They
the
look
coolest.
so fucking cool. They are so cool. And it's cheaper because there's a misprint on one of the cards. It's $5 less if you want to buy this secret lair because one of the cards is misprinted. The next one is, I don't really know what this is, but it's really cool. I'm just going to read the text they give for it. The art's by someone called Peach Momoko, and it's, she's apparently an award-winning comic book artist, and she like, I don't know, this is really hard to describe, but it gives me Ring vibes. Look at these cards.
Can I see your phone?
Yeah, take them and just scroll, like, that gives me Ring vibes, right? Like, that's what I get from it. They look really cool. I like them a lot. They're pretty.
They are pretty. I wouldn't say the Ring. Do you know that famous Japanese mangaka that does horror?
What is it? Junji Ito?
Yeah.
Like that, kind of? Sure.
Prettier, but...
Yeah, I think they're really cool. And sorry this is an audio podcast, that we're talking about physical cards that have images on them. The last one is called Tome of Astral Sorceress. And Tome of the Astral Sorceress, I'm sorry. And it's a bunch of cards that look like very tarot. And sort of like, I don't know how else to describe it. They're really cool.
They look like astrology stuff.
Yeah, it's like astrology cards, and they're pretty fucking sweet. But yeah, this its secret layer drops tomorrow on September 30th. If you want it, check it out. You can go to the Wizards website and find it. I think they're all about $30, and you get 5. Oh no, this one's only $25. Oh, because it's $5 cheaper because of the misprint. Yeah, it looks like most of them are $30 for the normal, and then $40 for the rainbow foils. But that's pretty cool. I'm a huge fan of this new set. I think all the horror stuff that they worked on and made possible is really, really cool. And it's been really fun to watch people play these cards in Standard because it's just like, yes, I'm playing the Chainsaw. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to get fucking destroyed by this thing. It's awesome. Super cool. Thought it was worth mentioning. Now back to horror news that isn't Magic the Gathering related. So you know how we said we watched Child's Play for convention prep? And that's out now, so I can talk about it.
Yeah.
I have bad news.
What? Oh, is this about the cancellation of the TV show?
Yeah, they canceled the Chucky TV show
Yeah.
at Sci-Fi.
It kind of sucks, but at
It
the same time,
does suck.
I think, I forget who said this. It might have been Jennifer Tilly, but she was like, yeah, but we come back.
Yeah, so that's what I was about to mention, is very tragic that they're canceling the show. And Don Mancini is upset about it. But he did say, where's this quote? I was reading this article on Bloody Disgusting, and oh no, it was Brad Dourif, not Don Mancini.
It was Brad Dourif.
Brad Dourif said, and you should hear the pitch for season 4, but you can't. He will, but that will be even better. He keeps topping himself. And basically, everyone that worked on the project is like, yeah, Don Mancini's gonna make this whether Sci-Fi wants him to or not, and he's gonna go crazy with it. Like, basically, they're either gonna make their own movie, like fund it themselves, do their own thing, or they're going to find another studio to pick it up. So Chucky is not dead as a franchise. It's going to come back, but it sucks that it was canceled because a lot of people, I heard the show was really good. I've never watched it,
Yeah, I haven't watched it yet either. I think I've seen some episodes.
I've seen clips, and it looks really good.
Yeah, they've gone really far. I think what's really interesting is if they do another movie, because kind of one of the big things with the Chucky universe is they keep up with the timeline.
Yeah.
So any movie that comes out now would probably follow after the TV show.
Yeah, which is awesome.
Which is odd, but cool.
I'm really excited about it. And, as a new Child's Play fan, because, like, I hadn't seen Child's Play till we watched it for the podcast, and I really like that movie. I think it's probably my favorite, like, classic sort of slasher movie that we've seen so far.
I think on that episode you said that was your favorite.
Well, he's my favorite killer.
Yeah.
I think Halloween 2 I like more than Child's Play, but I think Child's Play is really, like, a great film. And I think I like Chucky more than Michael. I digress. I really want to catch up now. Like, I want to go through and watch all the movies and watch the show because I'm excited for what they do next because I've heard nothing but good things from everyone I know that's into it.
Well, when we have time after convention prep, we're going to have to start going through series again.
I know.
So,
I'm excited.
Maybe then.
But it sucks to hear that Sci-Fi canned it because it doesn't make any sense to me. But you know what? I'm not a board executive, so what the fuck do I know? Okay. So, look, we've only seen him in one movie, but we've talked about him multiple times. We both like Justin Long as an actor. We've only seen him in what? Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah, I think so.
I think so.
Jeepers Creepers 2. Did we watch Jeepers?
No, we watched the first one.
Is
We
he?
almost watched the second one, but then we
Okay.
didn't. Because you'd be like, that's too much.
Yeah.
But he's in a new movie. There's an exclusive clip revealing he's being in it. It's called a movie called Spin the Bottle, which I think the funniest part about it is he's a cop in this movie. He's like a local cop who's savvy to the paranormal, which is a pretty ridiculous concept.
No, I mean, Justin Long's in some weird stuff.
Well, I've heard Barbarian is really good.
He's the main character of Tusk.
I've not seen Tusk, and I don't want to see Tusk.
So, whenever we get around the Tusk...
We're not going to watch Tusk. Please tell me we're not watching Tusk. Like, I really don't want to, Ben. Like, that's one of those movies where it's like, I have a hard limit, and Tusk might be beyond my limit.
Why?
It just grosses, like that and like The Fly, I feel like I won't be able to handle.
It's not that bad. It's just a weird movie.
Is it not that bad?
Nah, it's not that
I've
bad.
heard it's like atrocious.
It's fine. I mean, there's some body horror stuff.
That's what I'm worried about, yeah.
It's not horrific.
Really?
I mean, it's not great, but I've seen much worse. Maybe I'm not the good basis for this, because I saw Tusk when I was like 13, so...
That's
with my mom, I think.
You watched Tusk with your mom?
Yeah.
What the fuck, bro? The more you tell me about your childhood, the more you confuse me. You are an enigma, Benjamin. Like, watching Tusk with your mom, I just couldn't imagine. Anyway, basically, this film is called Spin the Bottle, and it's a very simple concept. A group of friends play Spin the Bottle in a house marked by a brutal massacre, and they unknowingly unleash an evil spirit and start dying in terrifying ways.
Wow, I'm sure that'll be just as good as a Ouija and Tear It.
Look.
Is it Blumhouse?
That's a good question. Let me look. No.
Okay.
It's some group called Fortress Media Group.
Not to shit on Blumhouse, but I think they did make both of those movies.
I think they did also make both those movies, and they both apparently are not good. But Justin Long is in it. He's like a cop who's trying to keep these kids from dying, and that's a great concept.
These damn kids.
These damn kids keep fucking with ghosts and dying all of them. Anyway, it stars Tanner Stein, Kaylee Kaneshiro, Tony Amendola, who's from The Curse of La Llorona, Ryan Whitney, Hal Cumpston, Angela Halili, American Horror Stories, Samantha Cormier, Legion, and Ali Larder from Final Destination. And then the director is Gavin Hoyson, who directed The Art of Getting By.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm just glad you get by those names.
Those were hard.
You were struggling.
Those were some tough names.
So
bro.
glad you don't do that part of our podcast normally.
Okay. That was a little mean, Ben.
It was.
Yep.
But true.
I mean,
but
yeah.
True.
We have designated roles for a reason.
Yeah.
I know my strengths.
Reading is not one of them.
I can barely read.
Like the average American. Oh.
I literally got a... I don't want to argue. I'm not going to bring up... I was going to bring up something... So ACT scores. Because I did...
Again, only a thing people in the eastern coast of the U.S. are going to know.
But I got like 100% on the reading portion.
Yeah, so
I know how to read. But I know how to read, man.
All right, I guess, is that all for your news?
I guess.
Okay, I'll mention this because it's kind of horror related. I ran the Alien RPG last week.
Oh, I meant to ask you how that
for
was.
my friends. It was cool.
I meant to show up, but I was busy playing Magic.
It's a cool system. It's a lot of fun. If you're into the Alien universe, pick up the starter set. It has the intro module. There's a bunch of resources available for it. I think it's really fun. Ideally with 4 to 5 people though.
Well, how did the actual game go? Did they all die horribly?
Oh, we didn't finish.
Oh, really?
Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
It's one of those modules that's recommended playtime 4 to 5 hours, and then everyone online's yeah, it took us 20 hours.
Oh my god.
Or it
but
took
that's
us
awesome.
10 hours. Yeah.
I think that's just a sign of a good dense module where there's enough room where playtime is long enough. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plenty of stuff to do.
But yeah, it's super cool. Their modules are done to resemble the Alien movies.
Mm-hmm.
So there's act structures and stuff like that. Yeah, if you like horror role playing, I think it's pretty cool.
Man, that makes me want to play some more Monster of the Week.
Monster of the Week's
Monster
also
Week is
really
so
fun.
fucking good.
Anyways, do we want to get into the podcast part of the podcast?
I mean, if you want to. How long have we been recording?
I don't know. Wow. All right, I'll do this because again, last season Bob got on me for not doing this every season.
It makes sense, Ben.
It does.
If we have new people watching the podcast, and because it's the start of a new season, we should explain how the show works, because if they don't know, they're going to be confused.
Get out of here with your logic and reason.
I'm not a rapper.
I hate you.
It was such a bad joke.
It was.
Oh, man.
Anyways.
Sometimes I think I'm the funniest man alive.
That's why you started a podcast. Okay, so if you're new to Beware the Ward, we're going to kind of explain the format of the show. If you've been here for previous seasons, this is going to be kind of old hat. So sorry, but I'll try to go through it relatively quickly. Our show gets its name from the board, which is kind of this concept we've determined to make choosing movies more fun and random. At least random for Bob. I know what they all are.
Well, someone has to choose the movies,
because
Ben.
I curate everything. But what we do is we create a 9-spot grid. We divide that grid into 3 sections, and each section's a category. One's provided by me, one's provided by Bob, and then we have one that's randomly selected from this long list we've been gradually building over time, over 100 episodes now.
Yeah, that list is long now.
Yeah. In either case, the idea is once I get a category, I'll choose a movie to go in each of the 3 spots associated with it, or sometimes a pair of movies for a spot.
I think the most we've ever done is 3.
Yeah. Point being, Bob will then choose one of the 9 spots on the board, and we'll watch whatever movie or movies are in that spot.
Yeah.
It's pretty simple.
Pretty easy.
This season, we have...
Oh my god. I think this season's categories are kind of fucking dog shit. We're going to get some bad movies.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And I'm excited.
My category, which is probably going to be the worst one, just objectively,
Yeah.
is killer objects. Very specifically, I'm trying to stay away from killer food or killer vehicles, because I think that's kind of its own
That can be its own subcategory.
subcategory.
Yeah.
So sorry if you're looking forward to something
Like Christine.
The Stuff.
What the fuck is The Stuff?
You don't know about The Stuff?
This is a ridiculous conversation already. No, Ben, I don't know about The Stuff.
The Stuff is even better than ice cream.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And it's good for you.
I'm gonna fucking hurt you. Shut up.
I can't believe you don't know about The Stuff.
It sounds like nonsense. The Stuff, what are you talking about?
The Stuff.
Oh my god.
Okay, I'm going to be honest. It's a very boring movie, but
Okay.
it's iconic. In fact, we've seen a bunch of stuff props at the convention.
Did we really?
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
It's a food movie. So,
Okay.
okay. Our random this season was small creatures.
Mm.
I believe that was Bob's suggestion from season 2
It was
or 3.
It was pretty recently, actually, I think.
No, it was a while ago.
Was it? I don't remember. Bad
And then
memory.
Bob's actual choice was he wanted to do stuff that's focused on serial killers and investigation work.
Yeah, like kind of true crime type stuff.
Yeah.
Something like Seven or Silence of the Lambs, something like that.
Yeah, I'm calling it, I think, Through the Eyes of a Killer.
Yeah.
I think that's a fun name for it. But yeah, true crime kind of investigative stuff. That'll be kind of interesting. In either case, what category do you want to do today?
And look, I know it's season 11 and this is episode 101. So you would think that I'd be like, let's watch something.
Let's start with a banger.
Let's start with a good movie. Absolutely not. That's not what we do on this show. We've watched some absolute dog shit films on this podcast, and I've loved every second of it.
In fact, Bob's favorite movie we've covered on the podcast might be one of the worst. Night of the Lepus, anyone?
I was telling oh my god. Okay, I'm going to go on a tangent for a second. So I was talking to my girlfriend's dad about this podcast and us watching movies because he likes horror stuff too. And I was like telling about Night of the Lepus, and he was astounded by it. He was like, well, I have to go watch this. It sounds amazing. And I was like, well, hold on. I've hyped you up far too much. You're not going to have a good time watching this movie if you think it's actually good, because it's not, but I
would
like
like
it.
to apologize. I have lied to you.
Yes. It was so fucking funny because he was like, but it sounds incredible. I went, no. You've raised the bar too high. You have to be ready for it to be bad.
You were like, I enjoy this because I'm a garbage person. And
Yes.
that is garbage.
Exactly.
Some might say I'm the trash man.
Some might. Anyway. God damn you, Ben. How many Sunny references is that for the podcast?
A lot.
Anyway. Oh, especially because we made the one on the wrap-up about the season. Anyway. I digress. We have to move on. This is getting
Dennis
too long.
Reynolds' Portrait of a Serial Killer.
Yeah. I'm choosing objects because that's objectively going to be some of the worst movies we've probably ever seen on the show.
Hey,
Ben.
the worst movies we've seen so far.
So far. The bar can only get lower. So I'm choosing killer objects because I'm excited for this category. Because, like, we've talked about it. There's, like, Attack of the Killer Condom, Attack of the Killer Bong, and those are all full moon movies. And I want to watch some full moon pictures because I think they're fun. And I
Yeah.
assume they're in here. So, and I have all 3 spots, Ben. Oh, man, it's a fresh season. I have all 3 spots. Oh, this is exciting. I'm going to choose 2.
2?
What's spot number 2, Ben? In killer
Ooh.
objects.
You got the curveball one first.
Curveball. Okay.
Curveball. The film from 1986.
Why you-
Maximum Overdrive.
We're not. Oh my god, we're finally watching Maximum Overdrive?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Did I talk to you about my dad telling me we should watch this movie on the podcast?
I think so.
Was that on the podcast? I can't remember.
I think you said your dad loves it.
My dad really loves this movie, and all we've ever done is shit on this film. All of you've ever done is shit on
It's
this
not
film.
good.
But I've never seen it.
I'm somewhat excited because it's a bad movie and it's like a fever dream, but also
Awesome.
not excited because it's Maximum Overdrive. Description. You'll never catch me, crabs. Not when I switch into Maximum Overdrive. Yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ.
If anyone wants to know, that is from SpongeBob. I believe it's the Krusty Krab training video. If you've seen that episode, I looked up the clip and I copied down Plankton's dialogue.
Fantastic.
That's my favorite, like, SpongeBob quote.
It's such a good episode.
Every time, I'll establish this now. Every time we mention Maximum Overdrive on the podcast, my brain goes, not before I switch into Maximum Overdrive.
We talk
But
about Maximum Overdrive a lot.
I had to do it. Length, it's an hour and 38 minutes long.
Okay.
It's rated R.
Thank God.
IMDb gave it a 5.4 out of 10.
Well, that's not too bad.
Respectable. Tomatoes meter score of 14%.
Oh my God.
Probably a little bit more indicative of the quality here. Because keep in mind, this is an old enough movie that everyone that's rating this went in after the release and
Fantastic.
did that. And then an audience score of 50%.
Okay.
Awards, 0 wins, 4 nominations.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Pretty okay. Notable actors, and there's a lot here. And I'm going to note this right now. Some of them are fairly famous. Like, really famous.
Oh my God. Okay.
Let's start with Emilio Estevez as Bill Robinson. He was Daniel in The Way, as well as Gordon Bombay in The Mighty Ducks. Don't know if you've ever seen The Mighty Ducks.
I've never seen The Mighty Ducks.
We live in a warm part of the U.S., but if you live like somewhere cold, like Wisconsin or Canada,
Yeah.
you probably grew up watching The Mighty Ducks because hockey is really big. other places.
Not here.
Not here. Pat Hingle as Bubba Hendershot. He was Commissioner Gordon in Batman 1989,
Okay.
which is on my TV stand right over there.
Oh yeah, you bought like the full like collection, didn't you?
Yeah, all the old classic Batman movies.
Yeah, that's
which
cool.
are great. Laura Harrington as Brett Graham. She was Amy Grape in What's Eating Gilbert Grape.
Oh, I've seen that movie.
Shocking.
It's a good movie.
It is a good movie.
It's a really good movie.
I'm astounded you've seen it.
I don't know why I watched it.
I don't know why you watched it
I
either.
remember watching that movie and going, man, I feel sad now.
Did you watch it for school or something?
No, I don't know why. I don't remember why I watched that movie. I remember seeing it though.
Well, move on then. Yeardley Smith as Connie. Do you recognize that name?
No.
Hopefully I pronounced it right. In either case, you probably know her for her most famous role, Lisa Simpson from The Simpsons.
Oh, that's really cool.
She was on 769 episodes between 1989 and 2024.
769 episodes of The Simpsons is insane.
As of now, it's
Yeah.
still on. Her character's really, really fucking annoying. I'm just going to put that out there right now.
In The Simpsons or in this movie?
Oh, in this movie.
Okay.
I actually like Lisa. Especially early season Lisa when she's really depressed, I think is great.
Oh my god.
Because it's a mood. But, she's so annoying. And
She's probably just a kid, and you don't like kids. I think that's been established now. Anytime there's a child on screen, you hate them.
No, she's like an adult.
Oh, okay.
And her voice is like close enough to Lisa where it's like you can't unhear it.
Okay.
Which is, I think, makes it better. John Short as Curtis. He was the Tiny Who Man in How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
I mean, I've seen that movie,
The live action one.
but I don't know who that is.
That's fair. I just thought that was a fun fact.
It is no, that is a fun fact.
Because I was like, Bob's seen that movie.
I have. It's a good
There's
movie.
at least one he's seen.
That is probably the best Grinch film.
The live action one?
Yeah.
Yeah, unless you really like the classic.
Oh, the classic animated one is really good.
But that's more of like a scene for scene adaptation of the book.
Yeah.
Which is, it's like a great adaptation, but the live action Grinch film is nice because it's its own thing.
It's its own thing, and it's also fucking insane.
Also, I don't know if you know the fun fact about it. The guy who plays the Grinch,
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. Thank you. So bad with names. Do you know he had to go through anti-torture training?
Yes, because the makeup was that bad.
Yep. And he's a method actor. And actually, listening to some of his method acting stories is really interesting because he gets stuck in characters. But yeah, cool movie. I grew up watching it a lot. That was a nice little Christmas movie. Alongside Nightmare Before Christmas.
God damn it.
Great pairing. I like that movie.
You can like it all you want. Doesn't mean I have to.
Yeah, but you like the guy who plays Jack Skellington.
He's good. He's a good actor.
See? Ellen McElduff as Wanda June. She was Jean Hill in JFK. Frankie Faison as Handy. He was in 2 films you might know.
Okay.
We'll see. The first one, which I think you're less likely to have watched, he plays the landlord in Coming to America.
No, I've never even heard of it.
No?
No.
It's I believe it's Eddie Murphy. It's like one of his famous films.
Okay.
Are you familiar with Eddie Murphy?
Vaguely. Doesn't he voice Donkey?
Donkey. Yeah.
Yep.
He does. So that's the first one. I figured you wouldn't have seen that. But this other movie he was in is notoriously really bad.
Ooh, okay.
So I figured you've seen it. He was Chief Elliot Gordon, not to be confused with Jim Gordon from Batman, in White Chicks.
I have seen that movie.
I figured as much.
That movie is bad.
But you like it.
Well, yeah, it's funny.
Leon Rippey as Brad. He played Wade in 8-Legged Freaks.
Oh my god.
Do you remember Wade?
No.
I believe he's the mayor. The scummy mayor.
Oh my god, that dirtbag.
So he's in this movie.
That's funny.
Christopher Murney as Camp Loman. He played Detective Deutsch in Barton Fink. J.C. Quinn as Duncan Keller. He was Sonny Dawson in The Abyss.
Oh.
That's a film that's going to terrify you.
I was about to say, we haven't seen that, but I've heard of it.
It's great. It's not really a horror movie, but it will go on this podcast because you're afraid of the ocean.
Yep.
It's a James Cameron film.
Oh, that's cool.
It's probably one of my favorite films by him. It's so pretty. I hope it's in 4K
You
because
would think so.
I'd hope so. It's very pretty, but I like the ocean, so what I consider pretty and what you consider pretty are different.
Very different things. Is that the fucking cat?
It's Louis, yeah.
Ben's roommate got a cat, and he's trying to break into the room. Oh my god, Louis. Louis.
Don't say his name. You'll summon him. It's like Piper.
He's already been summoned. He's here. Well, let him in.
No.
He's not going to go away, Ben. Bro is going to break into himself if you don't let him in. You either let him in or he wrecks your door. Hello, Lewis. We've gained a friend.
I just don't want hair all over my room. Louis. Holter Graham as Deke Keller. He played IQ Jones in Hairspray.
Oh, I
the
like
one
Hairspray.
from 1988, which I didn't know existed.
I also didn't know existed until just now. But I like the new one.
Yeah, I did
The new
too.
one's good.
I watched that in theaters when it came out. It was good.
No, it was fun.
Barry Bell as Steve Gayton. He played Cop Number 2 in a little film known as Trick or Treat, but we usually call it Ragman.
Oh, that's awesome. Man, that's a good movie. I like that movie a lot.
Pat Miller as Joey. He did stunts on Eight-Legged Freaks.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Another Eight-Legged Freaks actor. It's kind of fun. J. Don Ferguson as Andy. He played the MC, and I Know What You Did Last Summer.
Okay. I'm trying to... I assume that's the dude that was helping, What's Her Fuck with the radio thing?
I believe that's the MC from I think the Beauty Talent Show.
Oh, okay. Okay.
That would be my guess, at least.
Ben, you're not going to get rid of him. He doesn't want to leave. He's having fun.
Giving him the option.
He's not going to leave, Ben. Louis here now, and he's with us for the rest of the podcast.
Giancarlo Esposito
Whoa.
as
Whoa,
video player. You might know him as Gus Fring from Breaking Bad.
Well, yeah.
He was on 26 episodes between 2009 and 2011.
That's awesome that he's in this movie.
Told you there were some famous people. He's not in this like a lot,
But it's cool that he is in it.
but it's cool.
He's super famous now. He
Yeah.
did that. He did The Boys. He's the main villain of like Far Cry 6, I think.
Yes. Well, I don't know if it's 6, but
It's
he is
one
in
of the Far Cry games, but like, yeah. No, dude is like incredible. There are so many memes of him. He's awesome.
We got one of our favorite horror actors, Stephen King,
Wow. Well, you didn't
as
well,
the
yeah.
ATM Man. We might know him as Hoagie Man in Night Riders, or our favorite part of the Creepshow film, Jordy Verrill.
Jordy Verrill.
You lunkhead.
So good.
That's my favorite section. Marla Maples as Second Woman. She was Nancy in Executive Decision. You might not know this, but she was married to Donald Trump.
Whoa. That's kind of interesting.
Interesting fact. 91 and 99.
How many wives has that guy had?
A lot.
That's kind of crazy.
I didn't know they were married, but when I was looking on her IMDb page, she was in Executive Decision, so the film I listed her as under Marlon Maple Trump, I believe.
Huh. Interesting.
And then finally, I put this one in literally just for you.
Okay.
Robert Gooden as Barry. He played Leslie in Night of the Lepus.
Oh my god.
We got a Night of the Lepus actor.
That's awesome.
That doesn't happen a lot.
No.
That's a bad movie.
You can't keep calling it a bad movie. Because it's not a bad movie.
And you can't keep calling it a perfect film.
It is, though. I need a third opinion. I need someone in the audience to go watch this film and report back.
I need someone to sacrifice themselves.
It's not sacrificing. It's a good
support me.
movie. You'll have a good time.
If you like bad movies.
If you like movies.
No, don't frame it like that. That is very misleading.
I don't see how.
Anyways, writer-director is Stephen King.
Yeah, so this is what I know about this film, is this guy.
It's
a Stephen King thing.
Yep, it's his only directorial work.
Really? I actually
Only
didn't
one,
know that.
first and last. Which is shocking.
So it's his best
86.
and his worst film.
It is his best and his worst film. But I do think it is interesting because he's worked on a lot of movies.
Yeah.
Just because a bunch of his works have been adapted.
Mm-hmm.
It's probably the most famous. The movie. obviously.
Yeah.
But he's also written for stuff. I mean, we
Creepshow.
talked about it on the episode, but he wrote Creepshow. It was one of the first things he ever wrote. I think he wrote Knight Riders before that, but then Creepshow.
Yeah.
Something like that. Anyways, estimated budget was $10 million.
It's a lot of money.
They gave him a lot of money.
I mean, it's Stephen fucking King.
Because it's Stephen fucking King. However, the box office turnout was $7.4 million.
Oh! Well,
So-
that explains why this is his only movie that he's ever directed.
There's other reasons besides the financial flop. Country of origin, United States. The working title of the film was Overdrive,
Okay.
which isn't as good as Maximum Overdrive.
I really want to just call the episode Maximum Overdrive.
We can.
But then it's just...
Just Maximum Overdrive, all caps with an exclamation point.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we'll find something better after we watch the film.
In either case, they were really kind of branding this on, Stephen King. So the tagline even has him in it. Stephen King's masterpiece of terror directed by the master himself, which is a claim that is a claim.
Well, it's a claim, so it doesn't have to be true.
I don't know if I'd describe this particular work as a masterpiece of terror.
Wait. Hold on. Can I ask a question? I'm sure you're going to get to it, but is this based on a book?
Ah, well, that's a great question. Kinda. So
Okay.
the screenplay is loosely based on a short story by Stephen King entitled Trucks,
Oh, okay.
which was included in his first collection of short stories. Night Shift, I believe, is what that collection was called.
Because you would think if you're going to hire Stephen King to direct something, that it would be something that he already wrote. Because that makes sense.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he's written
So,
so much.
prolific as fuck.
Yeah.
Bro does not stop writing.
Okay, so I have a couple cool facts on this film. A lot of them have some quotes from some of the cast or King himself.
That's cool.
But I think the general consensus I want to give you with this film is it's just crazy. Like the behind the scenes stuff for this movie are wild. I would recommend if you are interested in any of that, you go read about it yourself. It is fascinating because just things were wild. But let's start with something small and we'll kind of move our way up into more interesting facts. But let's start with the film's soundtrack. The soundtrack was composed entirely by AC/DC.
What the fuck?
Since apparently they are King's favorite band, and they released a album that was essentially supposed to be the Maximum Overdrive soundtrack album. It's the album Who Made Who.
That is fucking insane.
If you know Who Made Who, that's the Maximum Overdrive album.
Sorry, I'm a bit stunned by this one. That's crazy. You know how much AC/DC I listened to as a kid because it's my dad's favorite band?
Well, now you may
You know how much stuff I listened to from that album
Now
because it's my dad's favorite?
you maybe understand why your dad likes this movie.
Oh my god!
Yeah. I don't necessarily know if they wrote all the songs on that album for this movie, but that album is like the official Maximum Overdrive soundtrack album, which is wild.
That's fucking nuts.
In either case, as you might have guessed, this film is both a critical and financial disaster, pretty
Yes.
famously known for being bad. In fact, it was nominated for 2 Golden Raspberry Awards.
Oh,
You know them as Razzies, which
Yeah.
are, if you don't know, they're awards given out in Hollywood, oftentimes good-naturedly for, like, the worst of the worst, kind of the opposite of the Emmys. This film was nominated for both Worst Director for Stephen King himself
Oh my god.
and Worst Actor for Estevez.
Oh
Emilio
my
Estevez.
lord.
Both in 1987. They lost. I forget what movie it was, but they lost to Prince, I think. In either case, since this film has come out, King has disowned it
Oh my god.
and has described the film as a, and I'm quoting here, moron movie, and considers the process a learning experience after which he intended to never direct again. And he has kept his word, and I think that is really funny.
Bro said, I fumbled it once, I'll never do it ever again.
No, Bro said, I did it. It was horrible. I hate it. Fuck doing that.
That's awesome.
In either case, principal photography began in early May 1985 in and around Wilmington, North Carolina. That area was chosen by, I believe he's the producer. I might be wrong. At the very least, he owns the production company. Dino De Laurentiis.
Oh,
We've
he's
talked
Italian,
about it
right?
before. I can't remember.
I feel like he's tied to a bunch of Italian movies that we watched.
He's tied to a bunch of stuff.
The name is so familiar, though.
Yeah, we've talked about him. I can't remember off the top of my head exactly, but yeah, he's a pretty famous dude in the horror community, at least back in the 80s and stuff. But they chose North Carolina because I believe it's a right to work state, so they could hire non-union guys.
Oh my god,
which not great for safety.
Not at all.
That's how we have firearm-related accidents. In either case, kind of the thing to note about the production, because it was 80s Stephen King, it was a little hectic.
A little?
King has stated that he was, and again, this is a quote, coked out of his mind all through its production and really didn't know what he was doing.
You love hearing that from the guy in charge.
Oh, I know. Additionally, the on-set translator, Roberto Crocchi, I don't know, Crocci, did not remember King's cocaine use, but recalls him drinking from early in the morning until late at night. I do have a quote from him. It's, I never saw, I didn't, but I did know that he was drunk. That 6 o'clock in the morning, we had a roll call and he's drinking beers, and by 8:30, he's on his 10th beer.
Oh my god.
By the way, if you're wondering why they had an on-site translator, some of the staff were Italian. Go figure. In either case, while King was probably coked out of his mind.
And very drunk.
And maybe also very drunk. There might have been multiple things going on there.
Well, you gotta mix your uppers and your downers to come out to a medium smooth level.
If you don't know, King was notoriously on a bunch of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
For most of his life.
He's only recently become clean.
Yeah, he's actually very open about it, which I think is really chill.
His autobiography is so good, and he goes into immense detail about how horrible all those things are for you.
Yeah, kind of cool to see. But that being said, while he might have been coked out of his mind, he did try to create a positive environment for the crew, even if he didn't know what he was doing.
Great.
At one point, he rented out an entire theater to screen classic films, including Godzilla and Night of the Living Dead, during which he provided free refreshments and a personal commentary during each film.
What the fuck?
Additionally, he would participate in golf cart races on the studio lot during downtime.
Sounds like bro is going buck wild.
Yeah. There's also another story of, like, he wanted to get into the mindset of the movie before filming. So he got on a motorcycle and rode down from, I believe, Maine, because I think that's where he lives. That's why all the stuff is set there. But he drove from Maine to where they were filming in North Carolina on a motorcycle, and he tried to ride right next to semi-trucks so he could get freaked out by them. And he was apparently so disheveled when he arrived at the studio that they wouldn't let him in, because he was just, like, mumbling at the gates about, I'm here to film a movie about giant trucks.
God damn it. That's the most, like, 80s Stephen King shit I've ever heard in my life. I swear to God, if he was not, like, the most prolific author known to man, he would be a homeless man on the street somewhere, mumbling about some insane thing that he wrote.
I mean, that's how a lot of, like, famous authors are.
He just sounds like a fucking cartoon character half the time. Guy's an actual maniac.
It's very, very fun.
It's incredibly funny.
In either case, kind of adding on to this whole, like, series of insane stuff going on, during some of production and, like, studio work, Wilmington was grazed by Hurricane Gloria.
Oh, fantastic.
So, that's fun. Apparently, the winds were so bad that they would have competitions of, like, who could run from building to building without getting blown down.
Oh my god.
Because, like, it was just so bad. So, yeah, the set was insane. It was wild. Probably part of the reason this film didn't turn out great. You know, it's rough. The thing I want to note here is, while all of that might be fun, the unfortunate fact of the matter is it wasn't exactly a safe set.
Yeah.
And there's a very famous accident that happened on set. I think might have talked to you about it before, but it was like,
we covered it
maybe on season 1 or something. Armando, I'm sorry if I pronounced this wrong, Nannuzzi, who was the film's cinematographer, was injured on set when a scene involving a lawnmower sent a wood splinter into his eye.
Ow.
They basically shot the scene with the actual lawnmower blades in the lawnmower, even though basically everyone was like, we shouldn't do that. King was like, I want those lawnmower blades in there. And
Oh my
little
God.
piece of wood got shot into his eye.
Fuck that.
And they rushed him to the hospital, but he eventually ended up having to lose the eye.
That
And it was
sucks.
his filming eye, too.
Oh my God.
He ended up eventually suing King, De Laurentiis Productions, and 16 others involved with the film for $18 million. It was settled in court.
Makes sense.
Or settled out of court. But not great. I mean, he went back to work eventually in the Newsy, but he was always like, I'm never going to get anything big again.
No, yeah.
Because no one wants a cinematographer with no
one eye,
depth perception. So yeah, I just kind of wanted to bring that up because it's kind of the sad part about this film, and kind of I think emphasizes that fact that like sets can sometimes be fun, but there's a line between fun work environment and unsafe.
Yeah.
And this was definitely unsafe, which sucks.
That does suck.
With that being said, are you ready to watch Maximum Overdrive?
I guess. That
Okay.
last fact kind of bummed me out. I was kind of excited.
I know, but we had to cover it.
I know. And like it makes sense. But also, man. Damn. Okay.
He did finish filming the movie, though.
Okay, that's insane.
Yeah, he came back.
That's the craziest part. Bro said, yeah, I lost my eyeball, but you know what? Let's
That-
shoot this lawnmower scene again. I got a good one.
That right there is some professional, like,
They must have
courtesy.
been paying him a lot of money to do that.
Well, I assume it was also pride. He was like, I started this project. I lost an eye on it. I'm going to fucking
Absolutely
finish
not.
it.
If I lost an eye doing something, I would never do it ever again.
I guess, but, you know, it's one of those things.
No, I don't know.
If you have to sacrifice for something, you might as well have your name as the cinematographer on it.
I guess.
Especially
guess.
because that would have been his last work with two eyes.
When they did the credits, they should have put that. His name and then his
In
last
loving
role.
memory of my right eye.
Yeah.
I think it was left. I don't know.
I don't fucking know.
Anyways, we'll be back in a
Yeah.
second.
Yeah. We'll see you guys in a minute. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. We just finished watching Maximum Overdrive.
Woo! Was it your favorite movie, Bob?
Oh, God. No, it's not my favorite movie, Ben.
Oh.
Yeah, sorry to ruin that for you. Were you
Darn.
expecting it to be?
Normally you like bad movies.
Sure.
Not this one?
Okay, look. I have a couple of complaints about this film.
But we'll get into that in a minute.
Yes.
Okay. I will say, I am surprised your father didn't show you this movie.
No, but I get
Because-
where my dad likes it now.
It's just AC/DC and trucks.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll do our normal spiel. We're going to give a brief kind of summary of what this movie is about, if you're unfamiliar. And then we're going to actually get into discussing the film. Of course, we recommend you go watch the film spoiler-free if you haven't seen it before. It's probably worth a watch.
It's fun for a first watch. for
Especially, I
sure.
think, with friends.
Oh, yeah.
Not necessarily a watch-by-yourself movie, because it's not great. But, you know, as always, we recommend you watch it without spoilers before we talk about anything. But, you know, spoilers from here on out. In either case, I think the one thing I want to start with is, hey, this was in the killer objects category. Even though I said no killer vehicles or killer food. And if you're wondering why, I think the thing that most people overlook with Maximum Overdrive is it's not just a killer truck movie.
It's a killer everything movie.
Yeah. Essentially, everything comes to life and starts killing humans. And by everything, I mean like all machinery.
Yeah.
And it's about some people stuck in a gas station
Yep.
during that machinery apocalypse. That sounds interesting. Check it out. It's a weird movie.
It is a weird movie.
It's a little weird. In either case, we're gonna get into it now because I do want to actually talk about it. Do you have anything you want to start with, or can I just start?
You can go.
Okay,
I'm sure we'll get to what I'm going to complain about.
that's fair. First thing I want to start with is how ludicrous the concept of this film is. We open with a title card, like not even a narration, but like a descriptor.
It's like a scroll of text.
Yeah. And it basically explains the situation. You could definitely tell this is written by Stephen King, but essentially there's a comet that is passing by the Earth. Earth's stuck in its trail, and it's the trail of that comet that is bringing all the machinery to life.
Yeah.
It's later revealed, spoilers here, it may be aliens?
Yep.
I don't know.
Okay.
But, do you need to say something here?
Well, while we're talking about the beginning of this movie and the whole opening scroll, I actually really like it.
It's very stylistic.
But more specifically, I like the way the movie opens with the ATM thing. Like, I actually think that that's a fun way to open this film. And it works and is effective. Like, while the concept of this film is ludicrous and ridiculous, that initial opening is so, like, minor and grounded enough that I actually really enjoy the setup for it and the way that it sets up the rest of the movie.
Yeah, it's not bad. If you're wondering, they do that opening scroll and they have, like, a picture of Earth. But then they just do a panning shot of Wilmington, North Carolina. We see a bank. And, like, the first sign that something has gone wrong is just the sign over top of the bank that's giving you, like, the time and the weather goes, fuck you. Then we have our Stephen King cameo where you get some money from the ATM and it just says,
you are an asshole.
You are an asshole.
And then then the movie gives you, like,
Then there's, like, more of an escalation into violence from these machines. Yeah, I do think that is a nice build-up. I don't know how much I like the opening scroll.
Yeah, the opening scroll's fine, but I think that opening with that as your first, like, sign that something is wrong is really fun.
It's a fun way to start off without violence and build up to it. I don't like the opening scroll because it shows that they couldn't get that information in
naturally.
They
just had to just spoon feed it to you.
Yeah, which kind of sucks. Going back to the comet thing, the real big thing I want to point out here is when it brings stuff to life, it's implied that it's bringing only electronics to life.
Yes.
It is very inconsistent about
anything.
What does and does not come to life.
I'm going to be honest, it is straight up magic.
Oh, it is magic, but it's inconsistent magic, and that is the annoying part. Now, I will point out, and this came up when I was doing research on the film. I say research on the film. When I was looking for films to put in this category, I started reading about Maximum Overdrive, and one of the biggest inconsistencies I know people have with this film is, okay, yeah, some things come to life and kill people in ludicrous ways.
Yes.
That make no sense. For instance, we see a lady with a hairdryer wrapped around her neck.
Yep.
And I'm not sure how the machine did that, or very distinctly, the guy from Breaking Bad dies because an arcade machine
shocks him to death.
Yeah, after hypnotizing him. There's some weird ones. But the biggest inconsistency I've heard people point out is the fact that all the trucks come to life, but all the cars are fine.
Yes, that is something I was going to bring up. Because there are two characters that drive their car for most of the movie, and it's fine.
Yeah, and I've heard some people go, well, maybe the cars are loyal. But I did find a good explanation for that, and I do think it's probably fairly legitimate. This came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what wasn't common except in big rigs in the 80s?
Electronics.
Power steering. Cars don't have power steering, so they could turn on, but they couldn't be controlled in the same way.
Huh.
So the movie, I will say, while inconsistent about like what can and cannot work, does seem to focus on electricity with some consistency. But I just wanted to bring that up since that's the weird one. And why I put this in this category.
Yeah.
We do see a lot of objects that aren't trucks. Trucks are the main.
Yeah, I mean, we do see, there's an airplane at one point.
Focus, but I do love all the things that come to life.
I do too. And that's something I want to talk about because it is something that actually kind of pisses me off about this movie is the focus on the vehicles because they're boring. Like how you can only watch a truck hit somebody so many times before you get bored of seeing a dude get splatted.
Although it is pretty fun.
It is fun, but it's like, I get why they focus on the big rigs because like the whole plot of the film takes place around a truck stop, so there are big rigs around and they like sort of use them as a force to keep them contained. But like I would have loved to have seen other small objects go crazy.
Yeah, I think the big rigs are nice because they move and stuff and they drive and they can have character in that way. The Goblin truck is probably the biggest example of it. It's a truck for a toy company and it's got a green goblin on the front. technically this is kind of a film for convention prep because that
Technically, yeah.
goblin truck usually comes to convention.
It was there last year.
But like, yeah, the trucks can have a lot of character, which I think makes them a good focus because they feel like animals in an animal attack film.
Kinda, yeah.
In fact, one of them growled. I don't
I don't know how that works.
I assume it's like the engine kind of growling.
Sure.
That one was like a go-kart. But while those things have character, they're less interesting than some of the other machines because when the other machines kill people, they usually have to do it in creative ways.
Exactly. And that's what I would have loved to have seen more of.
I mean, sometimes that makes no sense. Like the arcade machine that zaps a guy to death. But the fact that it was able to hypnotize him was very interesting.
Yeah.
There's a electric knife that just turns on and cuts someone.
I mean, there's the vending machine. I think the vending machine kills pretty solid. Like,
Yeah.
It's not awful.
There's a like a soda can vending machine that shoots soda cans out.
And bludgeons someone to death.
And that's great.
My point is, if you're going to do the concept of killer objects like this, I get wanting to focus on a particular type of object, but I want to see these other small objects go crazy too, because I think it's way more interesting and fun. Like, honestly, I would have been totally okay if we had seen someone just, like, get choked to death by a hairdryer. Like, it just, like, fully animated and just, like, actually choke somebody out. Because I think that's fun and cool and interesting.
Yeah, and I think it does come down to this problem that Maximum Overdrive was written as a killer truck movie, but the means by which the truck came to life was more broad than only vehicles.
Yeah.
Rather than a killer object movie.
Which feels like a missed opportunity because I think the killer object part is far more interesting.
Yep. But what can you do? Again, I think it also is because killing people with a truck,
so much easier.
It's easier to shoot.
You just hit them.
Yeah. Those look good, though.
They look good. It does just look like some people just turn to goop, though. And it's awesome.
They very clearly had some dummies standing upwards and just hit them, and they splatter them really good. It looks nice, which I think is a good transition into they are not afraid to kill some people in this.
Oh, they just start killing people immediately.
Pretty graphically. Like, we don't really see anything too explicit.
Yeah.
But they do not shy away from doing stuff. One person we've mentioned, the vending machine, he gets bludgeoned on the head. We do see like a dent in his forehead. But in the same sequence, we see a bunch of kids die.
Yeah.
That's like kind of how the movie opens, is killing kids.
Kids get run over by a steamroller.
That's pretty shocking.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm going to be honest, that's more common in movies nowadays to kill kids. I could list some good examples, but Bob hasn't seen them. But back in the 80s, that was kind of unheard of, killing kids. But they again, do not shy away from it. One kid gets ran over by a steamroller.
Yep, and you kind of like witness the whole thing.
You see the whole thing.
Yeah.
And it's, not like super graphic, but like, wow, so props there. And again, it's kind of one of those examples of, in the early movie, we see more emphasis on not only a wider range of characters, but a wider range of objects.
Yeah, like the lawnmower.
Yeah, which, again, that was a bad scene.
Yeah, yeah.
Not in the movie, but in real
life, yeah.
But yeah, we see more emphasis on like killer objects at the beginning of the movie actually killing people, and it's fairly cool.
I mean, I think the coolest one is the thing they open with right after the ATM thing in the opening scroll with the bridge. Like, I think that's such a cool scene.
Yeah, there's a drawbridge that just flips up
with a bunch of people on it. And, like, people fall into the river, and it, like, flips the cars and, like, breaks a bunch of shit. It's awesome.
Cool stunt sequence. It's also where we get our AC/DC cameo, because they got the AC/DC, like,
truck.
There's
a bunch of watermelons that get crushed. It's cool. I think that all of that stuff is much cooler than the rest of the movie.
Yeah.
Because I think the other thing I'm going to complain about while I'm complaining is the fact that this movie takes place in one fucking spot. That's so boring when you're doing a movie like this. Because you're confined to the things in that one area. You know what I mean? And it's like, why not have the people that are dealing with this problem like in a city where they could run into a bunch of other random things that could kill them? That's far cooler.
Again, I think it's that issue that this was written as a killer truck movie rather than a killer object movie. And by setting it out, they do set it at a gas station in the middle of nowhere so they can have more truck action because it's a very empty lot. They can drive trucks around there. Now, for all we've complained about, like, oh, I wish it didn't focus mostly on trucks, they go insanely far with their truck stunts.
Oh, yeah.
I'm pretty sure Stephen King went, I got $10 million. How many, like, semi-trucks can I buy at Ruin?
Oh, so many.
There is just some insane stuff. We just brought up the bridge sequence. I'm pretty sure they just parked a bunch of cars on a drawbridge and then
Turned it on. Yep, and just let them go crazy. And it looks cool.
It looks cool. And then they, just edited in sequences of people, like, jumping out of said cars. But then they also have, like, cars getting blown up by a rocket launcher for some reason.
Yep.
Cars, like, flipping. When I say cars, I mean semi-trucks.
Yeah.
Multiple semi-truck explosions. Things flying into ditches.
They just go so hard on making the trucks go crazy.
So I will say they do commit to the bit. And for as much as I look at this film and I go, okay, there's a missed opportunity for, like, a better concept here, they do fully commit to the killer semi-truck angle.
No, they do.
And I have to applaud the movie for that. There is a insane amount of destruction. I can't imagine this movie was very safe. With
No,
the
absolutely
set
not.
conditions I've heard about. But it's cool.
It is cool. I mean, hell, after some of the trucks get blown up, they bring in like a fucking bulldozer and start using that. It's just like, what can they break?
And kind of what I want to mention in the same sequence here is I think all the effects that they use to control the trucks are really cool.
Yeah, you literally never see anyone in any of the vehicles that are supposed to be remote controlled.
I'm not sure how exactly they're doing it. If it's like they have someone hidden in like the bottom of the cabin, or if it's radio controlled stuff.
Yeah.
My guess would be radio controlled, but I don't know
Probably.
how good that technology was in the 80s.
Yeah.
That is how they do stuff nowadays if you need to drive a car without someone in it. But it looks really good. I think the most impressive part for me, though, with any of the effects on any object in this movie, it is, I think, most evident with some of the vehicles, is that they make a point of having the different parts of an object move
Yep.
when that object is doing its stuff. So very notably, like, obviously the steering wheel's moving when the cars are driving and turning, but also like the pedals are going the way they're supposed to be. They're shifting the way they're supposed to be. Buttons get pressed, horns go down. All the stuff to make it look like someone's actually
Manipulating it.
even though they're not there. And first of all, I think that effect looks really cool.
It looks good, yeah.
It sells the whole idea that there's no one there doing it. But I think it also really emphasizes the fact that this is like a magical thing going on.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, you can tell some of it is like stop motion.
Yeah, there's a very evident one where it's a valve
Yep.
twists, which no electronics in that.
Yep.
Who knows how that works, but it looks cool. Yeah, some things are just possessed by association.
Yeah, it's like if you're attached to the thing with electronics on it, you are also possessed. Which is like, I don't know. I guess I can get over it. Like, I'm kind of over that whole thing because it's like, it's magic. Like, it doesn't need any actual real science.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as they started using, like, handheld electronics and they were completely okay, I just gave up on it. Like, the one point they have a flashlight in their hand, I said, that should just be trying to kill them. Like, it should just be exploding like a firecracker trying to get them.
Or just zapping them like that arcade machine.
Yeah, like, I want everything to be threatening because it should be.
Yeah, again, it's a very inconsistent movie because I think consistency would have made it a very different movie.
And also very, very hard to do.
It does very much feel like a film that's all over the place. I mean, you can tell unexperienced director. Like, there's some weirdly shot stuff. Like, at one point we have a transition and it's like people are jumping out of the way and then it's a hard cut to just two dudes.
Just two dudes ass up.
It's like, okay.
It's just like literally they show the shot of them actually diving out of the way and the next shot is just their jean ass cheeks.
Yeah, I don't know. There's just a lot of stuff with the production of the film where you can tell it's both amateurish and just unconventional. Not necessarily in a great way.
But some of it works.
But
like there are
some of it
some
works.
moments where it's like, okay, I get that objectively that was bad, but it was sick as fuck and I don't care.
That's how most of the stunts feel.
Yeah,
But it's also
for sure.
because I look at them and I go, there was no safety precautions.
Absolutely none. And that's what makes it fun. Which is like kind of shitty.
That's how people get hurt.
It's how people get hurt and bad things happen.
Yep.
but it does look cool.
The next thing I want to mention is the soundtrack.
It's all AC/DC.
It's all AC/DC.
100% of the time.
And I jokingly said this to Bob during the movie, where I was like, sometimes I wish there was other music in this film besides AC/DC. Like, they have some romantic moments.
And it's undercut by AC/DC.
And I think you said it sounded like porn.
It sounds like bad porn, yeah. Like bad porn from the 80s.
And it does take away from the movie at times that this is like just, it's all AC/DC all the time. And that doesn't always match the tone that this film is trying to go for. But I said to Bob, sometimes I want something else, but then I'm like, it wouldn't be Maximum Overdrive if it wasn't just AC/DC.
Blaring AC/DC.
All the time. I stand by that opinion.
That's fine. You can stand by it all you want.
I think AC/DC was the right choice?
Absolutely not.
Absolutely not. But for some reason, that then works for what this movie ended up being.
I think AC/DC works sometimes.
Sometimes.
Like in the opening, it's okay.
I don't know. It was a choice.
It was a choice.
It was a choice. Not bad songs they chose. Just
No.
maybe it doesn't always fit.
But the crazy thing is, they didn't play Highway to Hell.
No, they didn't.
And there's like a whole thing on the highway.
What song did they play in its entirety, though? They played one song.
Was it Hell's Bells?
It was Hell's Bells in its entirety.
The whole song.
I don't know. It was a decision. I could tell they really liked AC/DC. It does fit the maximum part of this film.
It does fit the maximum part of this film.
Next thing I want to talk about, I know we're just kind of going from one complaint to the next, but kind of mostly how I feel about this movie. Characters, most of them are Nothing Burger characters. I hardly know anyone's name. Basically, everyone sucks at acting.
Yeah, it's not great.
Either they're really, really flat, like the main character, I think his name is Billy.
His name is Bill.
Is it Bill?
I don't know. I think that's his name.
It's Bill or Billy. It's Bill. It's Bill, and that's played by Emilio Estevez. He's just really flat.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't feel like he's acting a lot. And then his love interest, do you know her name?
Brett.
Is it Brett?
Yeah.
Played by Laura Harrington, is also very flat.
Yep. Sort of nothing. Like, I don't care about them at all.
Which kind of sucks because they're supposed to be the main, like, emotional characters in the film. And I just didn't get that from them.
I didn't either.
Their performances weren't really inspired, it felt like. There was other characters that also just, like, overacted. Sometimes that was great.
Sometimes it was extremely funny.
Wanda June
I was about to say, Wanda went crazy.
one of the best sequences where she just starts screaming about how they made the trucks so they shouldn't be able to attack them. And she's just drunk, and it's great.
It's
I
funny.
love it. I wish there was more, like, bad acting where it's so bad it's good. But again, a lot of the performances are just to nothing. And, you know, I hate to get on actors for that, for, like, bad performances in a movie.
I just think that in such a ludicrous film like this, they're going for too realistic and nuanced of, like, characters. Like, you just can't be normal.
Yeah.
Like, it just doesn't work. You know what I mean?
I don't know. You said it was bad writing, but I think
some of the writing is bad.
I think it might just be poor directing because Stephen King didn't know what he was
some
doing.
of those lines are absolute donkey cheese.
Yeah, somewhat.
And I was like, I can't believe they just said that.
I don't know. What I will say.
At one point, she goes, "What did she say?" She's like, "You have sex like a hero" or something. And I'm just like, who says that? Nobody says that.
Brett to Rob or to Billy.
Yeah, like come on.
It's okay. There might be some bad writing, but the directing on that and some of the acting does make it worse. But what I will say is there's one
Oh my god.
perfect cast in this film.
Okay. I don't want to say that. I will not stand by what you're about to say.
Yeardley Smith, so Lisa from The Simpsons, plays Connie. And Bob, how did I describe Connie at the beginning of this movie?
The most annoying person ever.
And you doubted me.
I did doubt you, yes.
What are your feelings on her now?
You were right, Ben. I will not lie. She's so annoying, but I like it.
Yeah.
It works.
She's specifically written as a purposely annoying character. She's basically screaming and complaining the whole movie. Connie's married to this guy, Curtis. They just got married. Like, the day this movie's set. I want to put this out here. Curtis is a saint for being able to deal with her. Because he handles her really well.
He does.
He's really nice.
He only snaps at her one time. And you know what? Fair enough. He almost just fucking died.
Yeah. But, again, she's purposely written as this shrill, annoying character, and the actor really sells it.
Oh yeah.
She does a great job playing the most annoying character ever. I swear half of this movie is just her screaming, Curtis!
She's just constantly yelling for Curtis.
And then just some nonsense. And it's great. It's especially funny if you're familiar with The Simpsons, because sometimes you can almost hear Lisa's voice, which does make it better. But it's kind of that silver lining in this movie. It's the thing I remember best, is just that one thing. I kept turning the Bob halfway through the movie. There'd be moments of silence, and I'd just go, Curtis! We just crack up.
Because it's funny. Because I think the benefit of having her be so, like, out there and kind of ludicrous and insane is that she actually feels like a character. Like, she feels like, while it's ludicrous, she feels like kind of a real person. You know what I mean? The rest of the people in this movie are sort of, well, okay. Her and, what is his name?
Henderson?
Nope. It's like something else.
Asshole?
Asshole? Yeah. That's
Hendershot.
Yeah, him.
Bubba Hendershot.
Hendershot, I like him because he is also a ludicrous character.
He's the guy who owns the gas station.
But he's just like a cigar-smoking bastard of a man.
Yeah, I think it's kind of, it points out, I think, one of the big things with this film, where it's like, this is a ludicrous concept, and as you said earlier, a lot of the characters feel like they're written as more down-to-earth, realistic people, and they don't exactly work with what this film ended up being.
When you're watching a giant green goblin truck run people over for fun, you don't need a really serious character. You want something ludicrous and insane like that to match it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and everyone who treats the scenario in a way that's larger than life works.
It's fun. It's
fun.
Hilarious. I mean, I think that's why they gave Bubba Hendershot a fucking rocket launcher. Is because he's an insane cigar-smoking money man who owns this fucking Dixie whatever. What is it?
It's called Dixie Boy.
Dixie Boy. I almost called it a Piggly Wiggly. It's basically a Piggly Wiggly, though.
No, it's not. It's a gas station.
Isn't that what a Piggly Wiggly is?
No!
Am I dumb?
That's a grocery store.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is.
Huh. I don't know. But anyway, the reason I just think that I need these characters to be more ludicrous. Like, I want them to be more insane. And the fact that Bill is just, like, kind of a chill guy, it sucks.
Yeah. Do you have anything else?
Yeah. I can keep going.
Okay, yeah.
There's a bunch of people in this movie that are at the gas station that get stuck with all these other characters that I don't even know their names or care about them whatsoever.
Yeah, I actually don't think the characters tell each other their names.
No!
Because there's some scenes late in the movie where it just says, Mr.
Yep.
Yeah, they're just there for bodies. But it's weird because not all of them die.
Not all of them die or have dialogue. Or dialogue they do have is, like, so nothing or whatever. Like, I don't know. It just feels like in a situation like this, you need to cut down the cast of characters or kill all the extras.
Yeah.
And it did neither.
I will point this out here. I didn't write this down, so take this with a grain of salt. I think I did read that the original film had more character development. And they cut that because Stephen King was like, okay, the film is real bad right now.
Let's make it
better?
Question mark?
Yeah. Apparently I think the original screening wasn't great, so.
I don't know. It felt weird having all these nameless characters around for so long and not seeing them get fucking annihilated.
Yeah, but it kind of does make sense if they cut some scenes with them.
Yeah, for sure. That makes more sense.
Yeah, it does feel like there's people there that definitely didn't need to be.
And so when you give them screen time, it feels pointless because it's like, I don't care. Yeah. Like, there's a scene where this guy that I don't even know his name, he drunkenly, like, wakes up in the morning and, like, slams open 2 doors really dramatically. And it's like, oh, I feel like I should know more about you for you to be doing this. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like there should be escalation to the situation, but now you're just being an asshole.
You just broke these doors.
For no reason. You're already in a dire situation. Stop being an asshole.
Okay, final comment?
Yep.
There's some weird props. Just to fit the whole, like, what the fuck was going on set kind of stuff.
Okay.
There's a jukebox.
Oh.
With the Last Supper on it.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, this one's funny.
I just don't know why that was there.
I don't either.
I kind of feel like Stephen King was like, I want to zoom in on the Last Supper. Where would it be in a diner?
Inside the jukebox is the background.
But also, at one point, they're sitting in a window, and there's very clearly a can of Coca-Cola in front of one of the people. But I guess they didn't ask for Coca-Cola's permission, someone just put a white Post-it note over the label and wrote "Cola!" !
I did not see that.
Did you not?
No.
It was like, oh my god, what is happening with the prop
I was
department?
thinking about the porn wall that we see multiple times.
Oh, that one's just like, it's almost too much.
It is almost too much.
It's good characterization for whoever's bunk that is.
Well, it's the dude that's always lighting fucking Henderschnott cigars or whatever.
You'd think so?
Joey or whatever.
But then Bill sleeps there.
Well, I think Bill just took it.
There is a wall of just cut out naked women very specifically with their legs spread open.
Yep.
And they take a couple shots of it. And it's
more than a couple. It holds on it for a while. I think the worst, basically there's a scene where a kid walks in and is just unfazed by this.
Yeah. Anyways, anything else from you?
No.
Okay. I guess we could do our whole recommendation thing.
Huh.
Would you recommend this movie to anyone?
I mean, look, we have been shitting on it for the past however long this episode has been. I don't actually think it's that bad. Like, it is bad. It is bad. I will admit, it's a bad movie. But I thought it was fun.
Yeah, it's in this weird place for me because it's not a good movie.
No, absolutely not.
But it's also not so bad it's good.
Yep.
Because I enjoy bad movies. For as much as I shit on Night of the Lepus on this podcast because I think it's funny, I had a good time watching that movie with Bob. I wouldn't necessarily say I had a good time watching this film because it's not ludicrous enough.
No, it's not insane enough.
In the ways I expect a bad movie to be and still be enjoyable.
I wanted it to be more buck wild.
That's why, again, the thing that sticks with me most about this film is Connie screaming about Curtis because it's over the top and fun. So yeah, I don't think it was like atrocious.
Yeah.
Kind of nothing burger.
Kinda, yeah. Okay, recommendations. If you want a movie about killer trucks, this is in the killer object category, but that is not the focus of the movie, which is upsetting and kind of blows.
But I just wanted us to cover Maximum Overdrive.
I mean, that's totally fair. And
I'm glad we covered it.
The fact that there are undertones of killer objects in the film helps. Like,
Yep.
I think that stuff is far more interesting. Like when it cuts to the highway and there's just a plane sticking out of the top of a fucking school bus.
Completely vertically.
Like, that shit is awesome. I want to see more of that. But you don't really get that in this movie. It's mostly just trucks. If you like Stephen King, not that this is a good Stephen King thing,
No.
but it is a Stephen King thing, so that, if you're interested. I really don't have any other recommendations, honestly.
Okay. I guess I'll do mine. Obviously, this is kind of like a well-known movie in the horror space, just for being kind of ludicrous. I joke about it a lot on this podcast because I think the name's funny. So, if you're familiar with the movie and you haven't seen it yet, I do think it's worth a watch. I will say that I think this is a really good film for watching with friends.
Oh, yeah.
If you're just having like a chill night, you guys are drinking or something. Not that that's my suggestion, but I do think it's kind of
I wish we had been drinking.
I think it's one of those films that you can't take like super seriously if you want to have a good time. And I think that does kind of ruin our enjoyment because we're kind of sitting here critically, even though we are joking around. I think it would be more fun if we were just kind of riffing on it. But like Bob said, if you're looking for a killer truck movie, I do think this is an okay version of that. It is kind of fun to see trucks represented as like these malevolent creatures rather than vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
I think the film does a great job with that, especially with some cool looking trucks like the Goblin truck.
Yeah.
But there's also like a TP truck and
the Miller Lite truck.
And, that's all super cool. But I think the big thing, and part of the reason I did put this in this category, is I think this is a decent killer object film. Like, it doesn't focus on that topic enough for me to be satisfied, but this film does something cool by going, hey, since everything is coming to life, why don't we show you a bit of everything? And I would have liked to see more, but there's not really another film where you're going to see a bunch of people get killed by a drawbridge coming to life. That's fairly unique. Or like an arcade machine hypnotizing people and then shocking them to death. And so while we don't get to see enough killer object stuff, I think for this to be like a great killer object movie, we do get to see a lot of different things. And I do think that is really cool.
I mean, I think that's what makes the film interesting.
We see a vending machine kill a bunch of people.
Yeah. Unexpected. Very cool.
Or some menacing sprinklers.
That is true. I do think they do a pretty good job of making like stuff that couldn't kill people but is still like considered controlled scary.
There's some stupid ones. There's one woman who just very clearly
Oh my
got
God.
choked out by her like automatic window in her car.
Yep.
I'm like, why did you stick your specifically just your neck out of the window?
Or her hand was out it too.
But yeah, those are my recommendations. Oh, and if you like Stephen King, this is so obviously got Stephen King all over it.
Oh yeah.
But very specifically coked up Stephen King in the 80s. And if you're into that, it's
cool.
it's cool. I mean, just the ending alone just is bad and has him all written over it.
The ending of this movie is atrocious. It really does actually suck cheeks.
Curtis! With that being said, you want to rate it?
Look, I know we've spent probably the last 20 minutes talking about how much this movie isn't good, but hear me out. It's a movie about killer trucks. What does it do? The trucks kill people. That happens.
They explode.
We didn't cover it. The amount of explosions in this film is absolutely fucking inane.
I was referring to the people that get hit by the trucks.
Oh,
the
that
trucks
too.
themselves also explode.
I think those count as the number of explosions. We can count those. No, I mean, like, spoiler, but by the end of the movie, the entirety of, like, gas station is gone. It is in shambles. Everything is on fire. The trucks have crushed everything to pieces. It's toast. And it's cool. But while I think it achieves its goal, that would give it a 3. This movie does not deserve that score. It is...
Yeah, I do feel like my experience was a 3. Like,
Yes.
just middle of the road. But this movie is not that.
Exactly. Like, I had an okay time, and it was fun to watch with a friend for the first time. But this movie is not deserving of a rating that reflects that
No.
at all. Because,
This does not hold up on second watch.
no, that's what I was about to say. If I watched this a second time, I'd probably fucking hate it. Like, way more than I do now. So, I'm feeling between anywhere of a 2 and a 2.5. But I think I want to give it a 2.5. Because, like, while the characters, most of them suck and are uninteresting and unfun, I think just the pure insanity of all of the explosions and effects brings it to a 2.5.
That's fair. I'm also going to give it a 2, not a 2.5. Because, I don't want to give it a 2.5.
You just don't want to.
I just don't want... I've seen this movie before.
That's fair.
And I don't think there's enough spectacle there
No.
for it to be super fun on rewatch, and there isn't enough fun characterization to make the human scenes interesting. So it's just kind of boring.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like one of those movies that it's like, you did something, but I don't think you went far enough
They could have pushed this over the
with
edge.
the decisions you made. With that being said, I don't think it's bad. And to be honest, for some of the performances alone, looking at you, Connie, Curtis, I think I would kind of be closer to a 2.5. But again, I've seen this before. It's not as fun.
That's
Haven't
fair.
watched it
Totally get
once
it.
or twice. But, if you haven't seen it before, if you really like some of the stuff in it, like AC/DC,
True.
or if you're a big Simpsons fan, I assume it's much funny.
Sure.
Because it was funny for me whenever I heard it. Anyways, 2. I'm going with the 2.
You know what? I think it scored higher than I was expecting. When we started this, I was ready to like really throw it down the gutter, but I talked myself up on this one.
Yeah, it's like competent enough where I don't see myself giving it lower than a 2.
No, because it functionally is a movie.
It's just not
A
good.
good one.
It just feels like, again, a nothing kind of movie.
Yeah.
With that being said, I guess we're going to go to outtakes now.
Yeah.
I don't know what we'll have.
There's some stuff in there.
I guess.
I don't know what we marked.
Whatever.
We'll see you guys in a minute.
We'll be back in a second.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the outtake section for this episode of Beware the Board. I hope you're enjoying our review of Maximum Overdrive so far. While I do not think this is a good movie, it is definitely a fun movie. But without further ado, let's get into the outtakes. This first clip is our reaction to the opening of this film. Ben, I just had like a flashback to us on June 19th, 1987 at 9:47 a.m. EST, the Earth passed in the extraordinarily diffuse tail of Rhea M, a rogue comet. According to astronomical calculations, the planet would remain at the tail of the comet for the next 8 days, 5 hours, 29 minutes, and 23 seconds. That's a fucking mouthful.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I was going to say something, but it's not worth it.
What were you going to say?
See, I do know how to read, but I can't fucking talk.
There's always an issue.
They really did just film this shit in Wilmington and said, yeah, full send it. We are in Wilmington.
Yeah.
Fuck you. That's awesome.
Money Man 2.
Oh, look, Stephen King. You are an asshole. Correct. Hi, everybody. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the outtakes. Do we have any announcements, Ben?
I guess I'll say this now because we were just talking about it. We got the Halloween Horror Awards coming up.
Yeah, at the end of October on Halloween.
Yeah, that's, I guess, of this coming out this month.
Yes.
So, yeah, that kind of celebrates the anniversary of the podcast. Yeah, if you're unfamiliar, we essentially recorded the first episode
on Halloween.
On
almost.
Halloween.
Yeah.
It didn't release on Halloween, so we kind of treat Halloween as kind of our anniversary for the podcast. So to celebrate that, we do what we call the Halloween Horror Awards. We did it last year, but we just kind of do like the year in review for all the films we've covered, and we give out little awards. I say give out. We name winners for different like award categories.
Think of it like the Emmys, but for the podcast.
So much shittier.
Much shittier, but also some movies win a lot of awards and other ones win no awards.
Yeah, but it's kind of fun for us.
It is extremely fun. I think it's a blast.
It's kind of cool because we go over everything we've covered. And we got 5 seasons and some change to cover. So
I was about to say, we were just literally before this talking about it, and there are so many movies that I forgot that we watched.
It'll be cool. But that'll come out on Halloween. Otherwise, we're still releasing Convention Prep right now.
Yeah.
The first episode of that just came out. Bob already spoiled it. If you haven't listened to the first one already, that was Child's Play. But the second one is
Fright Night?
It is Fright Night.
Yeah.
Which, hint, hint, good movie.
Good movie. Like that
Yeah.
one. That'll come out tomorrow.
Yeah. Otherwise, we're totally not working on anything else that we've been working on for a year.
I mean, yikes.
So, usual spiel. Check us out wherever you get your podcasts, Spotify, Apple Podcasts. If you're checking us out on one of those more podcast-specific platforms, please give us a quick rating or review. That really helps us out with getting recommended to other people on those platforms. You could also recommend us to a friend. We got a bunch of content now. Might as well share it around. I don't know. They might like it. They might also strangle themselves with a hairdryer.
God damn.
Who knows? With that being said, one of the other interesting places to check us out is YouTube, which I know isn't the best for audio-only content, but it's kind of helpful for us if you check us out over there. YouTube's basically one of the only places where we can pretty regularly read user engagement, with likes, views, subscriptions, stuff like that. It's much easier than the RSS feed, so doing that really makes us happy. It's kind of cool to see. With that being said, YouTube does have a couple interesting tools you might appreciate. There's a bell button, which lets you get notified whenever we post something new. So that's especially useful if we're posting something out of our usual release schedule. So, for instance, the episode says coming out tomorrow.
Yeah.
Fright Night. But then there's also a search button, which lets you search all the videos on our channel for keywords. So if you're looking to see if we've covered any movies, we've covered a bunch at this point. That's an easy way to figure it out. But the big thing with YouTube is it's one of the 2 major places to communicate with us with. You can do that in the comment section of a specific video, or you can go over to Twitter, @BewareTheBoard, and go honk at Bob. Maybe give him a message in Morse code about how you need a fill up.
Oh, okay.
You were grooving on it until I said that, right?
Yeah, bro, you made that weird. Like Ben said, check us out on Twitter, @BewareTheBoard. It's where we post updates about the show, information about the show. Basically, if there's anything you want to know about the show, it goes on our Twitter. On Mondays, I post a spoiler post for that week's worth of episodes, which is a hidden movie cover you can reveal, so you can watch the films before we do. So when you release the episodes, you don't get any spoilers or being vague about stuff, you know what we're talking about. Then on Fridays or whatever other day an episode goes live, I always post a link to the episode on our Twitter. So if you've missed an upload or want to know someone up, there's always a link there. Last thing, we do short form content for the show over on TikTok at Beware the Board and on YouTube Shorts.
When was the last time you made one, Bob?
That
That was smarmy, but it wasn't necessarily an attack. I'm actually curious.
Well, there's one currently sitting on my computer at home half done.
Oh, okay.
And I talked about it last week. I think I talked about it. But I have a Shaun of the Dead one half done that I have to finish. I haven't gotten around to it.
Okay.
But the last one was what? The one that I made for The Thing?
I think so.
Which was the beginning of last season?
I think that was your best short so far.
Really?
That was my favorite.
I don't know, man. That Return of the Living Dead one is still slaps.
It wasn't necessarily funny, but I thought it was the most professional.
Sure. Not that that's the vibe we're going for.
No, but it was well cut.
Oh, thanks.
And I thought it was a good discussion from that episode.
It's a good movie.
So check those out.
Yeah. Check us out there at Beware the Board on TikTok and YouTube Shorts. Ben, I think that's it.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. We'll see you guys next time.